Today, I want to talk about what it's like to shop in China when you're an average-sized American woman. In case you're new to my channel, my name is Lauren, and I'm an American who's lived in Nanjing, China for about 3 months now. So as much as I don't want to put my sizes out there on the internet, I think it's important that you know kind of like where the difficulty starts happening as far as like the size runs go. So I wear about a size 10 in jeans and in dresses. My shoe size is also a size 10, which is like a European 41. I have a pretty big foot, honestly. I have kind of big boobs. I'm like a double D. My tops, I tend to go for, like if I'm at a junior store, I'm probably going for the large or the extra large because I tend to like more like comfy, loose, flowy stuff. But if I'm going to a store like Nordstrom or Macy's and I'm shopping in a women's department instead of a juniors department, I'm probably going for more like a medium. I'd identify myself as a fairly average sized person by American standards. So there's different types of shopping in China as there are in America. I've kind of broken it down in my head into like 3 different types of shopping. The first one is chain stores in malls. The second one is hole-in-the-wall Chinese clothing stores that are really small. And number 3 is curated, really cutesy Chinese boutiques. So let's start with the malls. I've been shopping at a couple different malls around here, and there's a lot of them. Most confusing mall I went to, and I've only seen one like this, it had all their shops like visible. There were no like walls between the shops. It was like there were a bunch of different areas set up, and some were like shoes and some were racks of clothing, but there's no real divider, so it's kind of hard to tell the difference from one store to another. It's really interesting. It's like an open mall layout. So at this place, I have a little bit of anxiety, as a lot of you know, so I was a little overwhelmed because this is a very like Chinese style of shopping. This is not like something I'm used to. So I didn't even bother looking at shoes. I'm not really a handbag girl, so I was really looking at the clothes. And I flipped through a couple of the racks, but everything looked really small. So I left that mall pretty quickly. The mall I have had success with is probably the biggest mall in Nanjing, and they have stuff like Prada and Chanel and Dior, but that's just way out of my price range, and I don't care enough to pay that much anyways. So the stores in that mall that I ended up having success with are stores that I've had success with back home, which are H&M and Uniqlo. And actually the majority of the clothing I've bought in China, like 90% of it, is from H&M. So when I go to H&M, I've noticed that there's really no extra large and there's no plus size stuff. So when you go, there's like only a few sizes. Sometimes there's an extra small, and then there's almost always a ton of smalls, a ton of mediums, and a couple larges. They don't do extra large. So basically what I'm looking for when I go there is whatever the biggest size they have in anything. And the pants that I found, the biggest size was like a 31. It fit more like a 30 to be honest though, and the thighs were pretty small. Like I've got some thighs, so I haven't had any luck with pants. And the prices at H&M here are the same as in the States. So the numbers look really high, like the shirts will be like 99 renminbi, but that's just, it's like $15. It's not $100. Shopping at places like H&M and Uniqlo is definitely the more expensive route. I mean, unless you're talking like designer stuff. For your basics, H&M's like a little on the pricey side for China, I would say. Like you can definitely find the same thing for cheaper at Chinese places that are like, it's like the same quality. So let's go into the less expensive option, which is those little hole-in-the-wall Chinese clothing stores that you find all around. So when you walk into these places, you'll notice their inventory is like tightly packed. They want to help you right away, which stresses me out personally because I don't speak Chinese, so it's difficult for me to express that I'm just looking and I'm not looking for anything in particular. So sometimes I feel like I'm being really cold towards the salesperson, but it's the way it is, I guess. And then you'll notice that if you ask for something specific, a lot of times they're pulling it from like boxes or bags that are like lined around on the ground under the racks. Like they have stuff on display around the walls and on racks, but underneath that there's almost always just like piles and piles of like really well organized clothing. Usually that's like where their size ranges are, so that's where most of their inventory is kept. The thing is, I'm not sure if it's that I don't know how to express what size I am, but I think from what they've pulled out and showed me, I'm pretty sure that they don't commonly carry a size that I would feel comfortable buying. And in a lot of these places, there's either no dressing room, or their dressing room is essentially the salesperson holding up like a sheet until you say that you've changed. Yeah, so I haven't done that yet, but some of them do have like a little dressing room. Like usually it's a small little room, and then you're just like, your elbows are like touching the sides when you're like trying to undress. I have been into a boutique that's kind of like this, not quite the hole in the wall place, but I've been to one where I found one shirt that fit me pretty well, but it just wasn't flattering because a lot of things aren't cut for women who have like a larger chest size, because it's not quite as common in China. And I didn't say this at the beginning of the video, but it's really important to know that even though the size ranges tend to be really limited in China, the size ranges of actual women are almost equal to America. I would say like they've got the spectrum of sizes. There are a lot of women who are smaller, like smaller in every way. I'd say the average Chinese person is a little bit shorter, a little bit smaller frame, smaller face, smaller everything. So that's probably why the size range is the way it is, but that doesn't mean that there's not larger Chinese women. There are. I just haven't figured out where they shop yet. The third type of store I'm going to talk about is like curated boutique stores, and these to me are the most appealing from the outside, and I always want to walk in and go shopping at them, but I've gone to a couple and they really just don't have my size. It's so sad, but they really don't. I'm constantly looking for whatever like the biggest thing is that they have, even if it's oversized t-shirts, like anything. I have no hope of ever fitting into like the pants or the skirts that are at these places. Maybe a dress if it's kind of stretchy. My only hope is like those oversized t-shirts, which I really like anyways. But I find myself looking for the biggest size they have all the time, and sometimes I'll hold it up and I know that thing's not going to look good. I could fit into it, but it's not going to be the cut that I want. I've had quite the struggle trying to go shopping in China, to be perfectly honest. I haven't tried very hard with the shoes. I've kind of like looked a little bit at H&M and Walmart just out of curiosity, and yes, there's Walmart in China, but I didn't see anything in my size in the women's section. So I don't know if that's like exactly the right indication. I think that a size 10 shoe is really uncommon in China. I think that if I want a pair of shoes, I'm going to have to get it from the men's section. Another thing that I have noticed about Chinese stores is that sometimes when you go into them, like I said, there's usually like a lot of smalls, a lot of mediums, and then sometimes there's nothing else. But occasionally you'll go into a store that has a size marked F. And yes, my first thought was that it means fat, but I'm gonna assume that it means full, which still is not that flattering. But I have seen like some sleepwear in a size F, very exciting. Okay, so I want to show you an example. I bought a pair of these like bike shorts, and they're kind of long, which is annoying, but whatever. I bought them to wear under dresses because the humidity is real here and the heat is real here, and my thighs definitely touch each other, and it is uncomfortable after a while. So I just wanted to show you like the size differences across the countries. So on this label, I got a size large. This store had extra small, small, then medium, and one marked M-L, which I'm assuming is like between a medium and a large, and they had a large. So I got the large, and this is the waistband size. Not that big. It's really, I mean, it stretches, so that's good. It fits me fine. It's definitely on the like slightly tighter side. But the label on here says that in the US, this would be considered a medium. In Europe, this is a size 44. And in China, this is an extra large. But this store has it labeled as a large, so I thought that was really interesting. And if you're wondering, I've been getting some of my workout stuff from this store called Decathlon, and they actually do carry sizes up to a large, which is so exciting, or a Chinese extra large. But yeah, so I'm a size 10 in pants, and I take a Chinese extra large, which they often don't have. So that should be a little bit of an indication of what it is like to go shopping in China as an average sized American woman. If you have any other questions about shopping in China or anything about living in China in particular, be sure to comment below because I'm happy to answer them, and I'm cranking out videos like crazy lately, so I'm gonna have a lot of great stuff going up really soon. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.
No.